Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, July 7th, 2016. I'm Ashley Bello, and welcome to the Local Live. We have an update on the moratorium and what it means for upcoming reconstruction projects in Larchmont. Larchmont drivers may soon have to share the roads with bicyclists. Those details coming up. The Mamaroneck School Board introduces its new members. A new TV show has chosen Mamaroneck as its filming location. Stay tuned to find out more. Find out why residents sent a complaint to the Daily Voice about a Mamaroneck police officer. James Levinson has what's trending in the media. Kayak Tours of the Sound is in the spotlight. And in this week's roundtable, we will discuss what the living the American dream means to those who've immigrated to America.
Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is the Local Live.
Finds that due to the complexities and intricacies of the numerous issues under review and the board's desire to avoid unintended consequences, it is in the best interest of the village to extend the temporary moratorium by an additional 3 months to October 15, 2016. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees finds that the proposed extension of the temporary moratorium is required in the public interest and is in furtherance of the purposes set forth in Article 7 of the New York State Village Law.
The Board of Trustees of Larchmont held a public hearing on Wednesday where they extended the duration of the moratorium to October. The moratorium was enacted as a result of the increase in reconstruction and subdivision of many properties in the village. It was originally implemented in January as a result of the KOSL Buildings Group plan to tear down the 120-year-old home on Ocean Ave. KOSL founder Bobby Ben Simon purchased the $4.7 million property with the intent to subdivide it into 4 separate homes. The 6-month moratorium was put into effect to postpone plan approvals for demolition permits for 40 Ocean and other residences. These reconstruction agendas provoked a major public response from the Larchmont Historical Society and Preserve Larchmont. They argued that the reconstruction and subdivision of these homes devalue other residences in the neighborhoods, contributes to school overpopulation, and increases flooding and sewage problems. Larchmont drivers may soon have to share the roads with bicyclists. According to LOHA.com, the Larchmont Village Board of Trustees is considering a pilot program that would establish bike lanes on a busy section of Larchmont Avenue from Boston Post Road to Magnolia Avenue. The lanes would be 5 feet wide and be included between street side parking. This takes up 9 feet to the curb and the 12-foot wide single traffic lane in the center of the street. During the June 20th presentation, Chair of the Recreation Committee, Carolyn Lee, stated that Larchmont Avenue was the ideal location for the pilot program as it connects to people with the schools, businesses, and library, among other places in the village. The Village Board is currently considering comments from the public on the issue. We will update you as the story develops. The Mamaroneck School Board determined board officers for the 2016-17 school year last Friday. Elections were held for the president, vice president, and secretary of the Board of Education. 17 appointments were made for various administrative positions throughout the district, including the district clerk, Joanne Rice. Melanie Gray, who was previously the vice president of the Board of Education, will now serve as the president for the upcoming school year. Gray has been a very active member of our community as she served as a PTA leader, a reporter with the Larchmont Gazette, and a volunteer with a variety of other community organizations. Steve Warner is the new vice president, who has also been involved with the Mamaroneck School Foundation and the Mamaroneck Library, where he served as treasurer. This will be his 3rd year on the board. Paul Belova, who was elected secretary. Belova is a member of the School-Based Health Center Task Force and the Mamaroneck Avenue School PTA. Congratulations to the new elected board members. The Village of Mamaroneck is currently investigating a recent resident's complaint that a local police officer set off his own large private firework display on July 4th. This resident contacted the Daily Voice by email stating that fireworks display in the officer's yard on Raleigh Road has continued to get larger each year and could potentially be dangerous to all the people in the houses in the surrounding neighborhood. Both Mayor Norman Rosenblum and the Officer Chief Christopher Leahy are doing their best to look up this matter and resolve this issue. A new TNT pilot for the TV show Civil was filmed in the Village of Mamaroneck this past Tuesday. Directed by Alan Coulter, the former director and producer of Remember Me, Hollywoodland, and The Sopranos, Civil is about a modern-day civil war, a consequence of polarized politics. The cast includes Eliza Coupe, Bradley Whitford, Toby Jones, Enrique Mauriciano, Brian D'Arcy, James and Courtney B. Vance. LoHUD reported that the actors were seen filming a scene outside the United Methodist Church on Boston Post Road on Tuesday morning and also at the Carvel on Tuesday afternoon, according to crew members. The show is projected to be broadcast on TNT in 2017. Here's James Levinson with what's trending in the media.
The Loop is reporting that a new retail store is set to open on Palmer Avenue. The J. McLaughlin, a Madison Avenue clothing store with locations around the tri-state area, is rumored to be opening a new store on 1935 Palmer Avenue. It is the space that Right On vacated this year. There's no word yet on the move-in date, but keep watching for more updates. TripAdvisor, the popular online travel review website, has named 2 Mamaroneck establishments as having some of the best pizza in Westchester. In their recent rankings, Sal's Pizzeria made its way into the top 10, and Mamaroneck Diner and Pizza was a runner-up. To find out more, check out The Patch. And the fireworks continued well into the night on July 4th after fights broke out at Rye Playland on Independence Day. Police were called to the theme park after several fights broke out after the fireworks show. No one was arrested nor hurt as a result of the fights, according to a desk officer at the county police office. You can read more about this on the Daily Voice. Also on the Daily Voice, you can read the story of former Mount Vernon High School star's journey to the NBA. Isaiah Cousins was a standout superstar at Mount Vernon High School, who has spent the last 4 years at Oklahoma University, where he averaged 12 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists in his senior season, which led to a Final Four appearance. He was selected 59th overall by the Sacramento Kings. And did you know that Brexit may bring down your local mortgage? Though the recent decision has been volatile to the financial markets across the globe, it has a potential upside for people searching for a new home. The uncertainty in the markets have forced investors to look away from the stock market and invest more in U.S. Treasury bonds, which are much safer and bring down the mortgage rate. Since the vote on June 23rd, the 30-year mortgage rate has dropped from 4% and hovered around mid 3%. To find out if you can save money, read the full article on the Journal News. And in world news, one of the deadliest attacks in Baghdad occurred since 2009, over the July 4th weekend. Reports show that over 150 people were killed by a car bomb near a mall in central Baghdad. This is the 3rd major mass slaughter claimed by ISIS in the past week. On July 2nd, 22 were killed by a gunman in a restaurant in Bangladesh. And on June 28th, 40 people were killed by a suicide bomber in Istanbul airport, bringing the death toll to over 200 people. You can read more about the attacks in the New York Times. From the internet to you, I'm James Levinson with In the Media.
We have our local trivia question coming up, and don't go anywhere because after that, Mara Carlin and our guests discuss the value of the American dream.
The American dream. Some Americans say it's dead, Others call it a nightmare, and still others believe it unrealistic and unattainable. But tonight's guests are not just believers, but also proof. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Michael Witch, and as always, we want to hear from you. Tell us your American dream story. What does being American mean to you? Or ask questions. You can call, you can email, or you can tweet. The contact information will be on your screen throughout the show.
We're joined tonight by Fleriser Bello and Maria Smith. Fleriser hails from the Dominican Republic and Maria from Mexico, and both have stories to tell. So let's start with what brought you to the United States? And I don't mean what plane. How did you end up living here?
My parents decided to come to find new opportunities. So I think that was the most, besides coming in a nice air-conditioned airplane, it has been quite a journey.
How old were you when you
I was
came
10
in?
years old.
Okay. And was it a big adjustment?
It was. It was very, it was a lot of assimilating and adapting to a new environment, especially being put into a classroom of only English speakers, non-Latin speakers. It was very interesting.
Was it difficult?
At first it was. I wanted to pull my hair, and I cried. It was at first. It brings back memories, but it was very rewarding. I was able, within 6 months, to be able to learn to speak and also read. So my teacher, my 5th grade teacher, thought I was a very fast learner to be able to speak the language within 6 months.
So there were accomplishments and accolades,
of course,
for doing it, which is great. Maria, what about you?
Well, I came to this country when I was 8 years old. My parents brought me about 25 years ago. You know, a native of Jalisco. You know, and it was challenging, like you said. You know, I came to this country, my parents following the American dream, and of course, when I came here, the challenges were obviously immediate. You know, going to school, new environment, trying to make friends when you didn't even speak the language. It was really insane. Just to go to a pizzeria and ask for food, it was like really, really difficult and challenging. But, you know, hard work paid off. My parents, you know, pushed me in the right direction and go to school. And, you know, I want to not just blow my own horn about saying that I'm a bright kid, but I'm smart enough to know that, you know, I wanted to learn the language, and I did. And with good teachers and the good guidance of teachers, you know, bilingual classes and everything, I was able to learn the language. Probably I was speaking the language about a couple of years, like fluently.
You know, as you're talking, it strikes me, did you speak English at home with your parents, and did they learn the language?
It's funny that you said that, because my parents both don't speak barely any English. So that was another challenge. Not only was I pressured by my peers, you know, like my friends and things like that, you know, because kids can be, you know, a little challenging sometimes, or a little cruel. That just comes with a package. But my father was always very strict man, and he would push me hard enough. I guess it was for my own well-being, to go to places and like literally speak English and translate for him. And it will be challenging, because I would want to cry because I was a kid, and it was a lot of pressure, you know, for a little child. But look at me, you know.
And your parents did become successful entrepreneurs here.
Yes, my parents, followed the American dream and worked really, really hard. And after being here for 25 years, now they're business owners. They own a Mexican restaurant in Rochelle, and they own the building where the restaurant's in. And then they also have a taco truck in City Park and Fifth Avenue. And we've been in the New York Times and about a year, and then we've been in the Best of Westchester 3 times.
You are allowed to say the names of the restaurants.
Well, the restaurant is called Tequiltlan Restaurant in Rochelle, and you know, so it's very yummy food. Anybody is welcome to come, and you know, yeah. And it's no Tex-Mex. It's the traditional, original. All my family works there, and you know, like I said, like every Hispanic people, and I just don't want to just corner to Mexican people. They're very, very hardworking people, and I'm have the proof of that. And my parents have taught me well, as far as like achieving your goal and never give up. And that's what I
And that's what you did, and you created your own business, and you actually...
Well, I'm working on it right now. You know, I'm a yoga teacher. I decided to become a yoga teacher, you know, recently in a couple of years. And despite my disabilities, because I do suffer from autoimmune diseases, I became a yoga teacher, and I'm very proud to say that I am. And that, you know, part of the efforts that my parents taught me how to work really hard, you know, have paid off, I guess.
Now, Fleriser, you also are a successful business person. So tell us about that and how you got there, and maybe even how your background, having to come to this country and work harder, got you there.
You know, I'm still in the process, right, of the success and the American dream. It has been very challenging. My parents always push me and my two older brothers. And, you know, I had very good influence at home. You know, having someone close to the family tell me never take no for an answer. And my parents really and my brothers inculcating so much words and wisdom. When I was a teenager, you know, I'm the little one and the only girl, so they really make sure that I knew the tools to protect myself when I would go to the real world. My father was the one that taught me how to dress. He said to me, people are going to judge you by the way that you dress and the way that you speak. So I've been very privileged, I would say. But by the age of 15, I was working in my field. At the age of 10, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into film production. And I've been working, I've worked and also interned for Channel 13, the IFP, and also the Weinstein's company that back then was merger with Disney, and it was it had a different name, I can't remember. But I was able to work in my field, and I was very busy. My mom was very strict with me, and so was my dad, but my dad was more lenient. My mom, on the other hand, she makes sure that I wasn't going to a big school. I went to a small school, high school. And she made sure that my brothers never took me out. They were so scared of her. You're not going out with your brothers. Like, my brothers were so scared to really take me out because I was mostly, my direction since I was a teenager was in the general market, not in the Latin. I was Latin to me was speaking at home, but when I would go out and work in corporate America, by the age of 15, it was mostly, you know, working with directors and producers. So that to me was very beneficial. I was able to get the tools that someone would get in corporate America, you know, working in New York City and living in New York City. It really steps you down. You really have to build tough skin. And that really was very rewarding. That has helped me be where I am today.
In fact, I was told that El Diario mentioned you in an article. You were
Absolutely.
One of
So I was awarded Mujeres Destacadas for 2015. So
What does that mean?
It means most prominent woman from the tri-state area. So they highlight, and I was able to be part of it for their 20th year anniversary. I was highlighted, and to me it was a big, it was very, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I received 2 emails on the same day, and that was to highlight me for the work that I've done. So I also have a fashion blog. So the fashion blog is a platform to speak, to encourage and motivate the youth, not only Latinas, but women in general. So they were able to see that, and 40 on the 40 was another one by the Hispanic Coalition. So I was very fortunate, and I don't know,
recognition is
still
wonderful,
today.
isn't it?
Yes, and you know, a lot of people think it's when I have my friends that tell me, oh, you know, congratulations. I'm like, for what? I was literally, I was working when I was receiving the award. So to me, it's like, okay, I'll think about that later. But to me, I wouldn't think too much about it because there's so much to do. There's so much to do. It's like once you cross one barrier and you achieve something, you're moving on to the next. And to me, I don't really think about it. I just move forward.
So what does the American dream mean to both of you? I mean, did your parents tell you, you know, we came here because we want to follow the American dream, or did you come up with something else that was your dream? And I'll start with you, Maria.
I think that dream, obviously, as far as the Hispanic community in general, you know, they feel they come into the United States It's going to open up doors that you didn't have back home. And you can be one of the few fortunate ones that will have those doors open up right away. Or you can have very difficult challenges on the way, and the path, but eventually get there if you're, one of the few lucky ones, I would say. Hard work does pay off, and perseverance pays off also. And I guess I have proved because of my parents, and I'm here because of them. And I am who I am because they brought me here and they gave me the opportunity. So.
And it is the question of opportunity. You
It
had
is.
opportunity here.
It is. I believe that my life would have been way different if I was back in Mexico. Not because there's no other opportunities back in Mexico. It's just the challenges are different. Women are, seem precise slightly different. Depending on which little town you're from, or despite of how traditions run. Also, it could be challenging. And here, women tend to be a little bit more, free within their reach of making their own choices and decisions for their lives. So that's where I'm happy.
I wanted to ask you if you could retell that story that you told before we started this conversation about the man that you teach yoga to, because
Sure,
you've changed a life. I think,
Oh.
Maura, you made that statement. You've
You
changed
guys are
his
too
life.
kind. Yeah. Well, as far as changing somebody's life, I'm flattered. I really am. I helped this gentleman who's one of my students. His name is Barry, and I love him dearly. He's part of the family, but he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease probably about 2 to 3 years ago. And I started working with him in November, and it was something called chair yoga, and we started with a chair, and we did a lot of work with the chair and the poses, because a lot of the disability brings imbalance. So it's very, very difficult for people with that disability to make their way around. But with a little bit of, improvements and practice and never giving up, because that's my theory, never give up. He actually, right now, we actually can practice without the chair, and he can do 3 poses by standing up by holding on to the chair. And it's such an amazing progress. I am so proud of him. I am truly proud of him. He is amazing. His balance is getting better. He can get on the ground, which he couldn't do before. And like I said, our focus right now is to go to the trail for a day hike, which he loves. So that's my number one priority right now. So, but just the whole picture here, real quick, is that I want to send a message that no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your race or which nationality you're from, or if you have autoimmune diseases or any disabilities, it is possible that you can do anything as long as you put your mind to it. And the message is that simple as that. You have to believe what you believe in yourself, and that's it.
And for you, the American dream?
It's a lot of perseverance and overcoming barriers that you didn't think that you could accomplish.
Well, that actually brings me to a question that was emailed in, which is,
Yes.
what advice do you have for people who are new to this country, who are struggling or have been separated from their families, but they are still fighting for the American dream? Advice for them?
To never give up. It's easy, and anyone could go through that, but perseverance and not giving up and just fighting and having a vision and a goal, and setting those standards would really help out. And it's not easy. I could tell you it's not easy. And there's times where you just want to give up and you want to cry. And God always puts people next to you that are going to lead you to wherever you need to go.
Did you have a strong connection to the church?
I do.
Yeah. Is that part of what has led to your success, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. So I come from a very Christian home, and my parents always told us to search God, and everything would come in abundance. And when you believe in God, nothing is impossible. It says it in the scripture.
Was the church part, did they have, outreach programs or help for people who were new to the country? Was that part of, helping you to acclimate to the United States?
No.
No?
But it does. And the church that I attend will have that in a few months. So
I imagine that being here, there are things for which you're grateful. Can you tell us what you're grateful for?
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for given the opportunity of, being here and pretty much exploring what, my parents have created on the path of being here. And I'm grateful for being here and actually having the opportunity to meet an amazing man who's my husband and having my 2 beautiful boys, and now being grateful for having a career and a path to help others, which, whatever that might be for them. So other than that, it's just, it could be on and on, so I'm eternally grateful for everything that my parents have done for us. So.
absolutely. I'm grateful for my parents, first God, because He's the one that opens the doors. I'm grateful for my brothers. My parents have really taught me a lot, and my whole family has. I'm grateful for great friends and those people that come to your life and lead you and believe in you, after all. So I'm grateful to the United States because it gives it gives so many opportunities that back home you're not given.
What made you, I don't know if it was a decision you made, how did you feel about becoming an American citizen?
It was a stepping stone, and it was feeling more liberated. Having a residency, it's great because it opens opportunity. But being able to become an American citizen gives you the opportunity to vote, gives you the opportunity to have governmental jobs. Not that I have one. But it really gives you more opportunity. And it's a rewarding feeling. It's hard to explain.
And on that note, we are actually well out of time.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And
Thank you so
you,
Yeah, thank you.
oh,
welcome.
I'm being
Thank you.
told there's a question they
Oh.
actually want us to ask.
One more
okay,
question that's
go
come
ahead,
in.
Mike.
About mentors or role models. You sort of answered the question before that you are grateful to your parents for being role models and your brother. But are there mentors that you've found who've been helpful to you?
Absolutely, I have. I have found a few, and it's been amazing, especially when they believe in you.
Yeah.
That's really rewarding. And a lot of the times you don't know what you're doing, right? So, so it's amazing how people think I'm a genius. And to be honest with you, the number one mentor is God, and the rest are my friends that have been very close to me. So.
Maria?
Well, role models, my parents, obviously, number one. And a mentor, one of my mentors will be my husband, that he never, ever give up on me, ever. He's always there, left, right, in front, and behind me. So he's literally my best friend, and he's always been there, and he will always be there. So he's one of my mentors. And one person that really tried something in my life too is Betsy. Her name is Betsy. She was one of my yoga teachers. She's an amazing human being, and she made me see life in a different aspect when I was learning how to become a yoga teacher. So,
Nice.
thank you.
Again, thank you for joining
Thank you
us.
so much for having us. Yes.
And stay tuned, and the Local Live will be back with more community stories and, of course, the answer to the trivia question.
I know the answer.
Smarty pants.
Looking for your child to have a great summer? Sign them up for LMC-TV's Teen Filmmaking Workshop. Young people 12 and up have an opportunity to film, star, and direct in their own movies. Check out last year's participants. Don't let your teen miss out on a fun, productive summer. Sign them up today. LMC-TV, your community connection.
The Village of Mamaroneck offers programs that introduce something new to residents. This week's In the Spotlight features Marcella Milder and Andrew Rios as they give us a look into kayaking on the Long Island Sound.
Come join me on my wonderful experience here at Harbor Island Park, kayaking and learning about the Recreation Department's new boating programs.
Whether experienced or not, residents and guests this summer can enjoy kayaking in the Mamaroneck Harbor.
Tours are a new program we started last year.
Do you need to be an experienced kayaker to rent one of these kayaks?
If you want to rent a kayak, yes, you'd have to be an experienced kayaker, but if you'd like to join us for a kayak tour, it's really open to anyone because we'll teach you everything you need to know as we go along. I've taught people from 7 to, I want to say 87. Regardless of age or gender, everyone seems to be able to get out there and have some fun.
The Recreation Department is offering a wide range of kayaking experiences.
We do a couple different things with the tours. We have what's called kayak classes, and that's a grouping of 4 tours, and it's a session that you can sign up for through the Recreation Department. And then we also have individual tours, which are a 4-person minimum, and they're an hour and a half each, and then they're $25 a person. The areas that people can go to are great because they vary from, places like Hen Island and the coast of Oriental, which are farther out on the Sound, to places like Otter Creek and Guyon Creek, which are more nature areas.
For the more inexperienced kayaker, a tour is led by a kayak instructor, as well as supervised by a lifeguard.
During the weekend, we allow people to kayak right out here around the boom, and that's $10. It's a half hour, and it's supervised by the lifeguards. So that's a great experience for people that haven't been out on the water before, and then they generally venture out into going out on a tour off the coast a little bit farther. But it's really great for anyone that wants to get out there, and it's a great first experience as well.
And for those who feel comfortable, only $25 gets you an hour and a half to explore the waters on your own.
As a kayak rental is for someone that's kayaked before and can prove some general kayak knowledge to us before we let them go off on the water on their own to wherever they'd like to go. The entire program's run through the Village of Mamaroneck Recreation Department, so the best way is to reach out to the office, and they can help you with any needs you have in regards to helping you decide what you'd like to do, or if you want to sign up directly, they can help you with all of that.
Is this just a seasonal thing, or is this happening all year?
Anyone that wants to set up a kayak tour or a rental for a kayak, it can be done between April and November, but the Saturday and Sunday kayak rides are during the beach season. The beach opens May 27th, which is the Friday before Labor Day, and it runs straight through Labor Day. So if you see it's a nice day during the weekend, you're more than welcome to just come by for a kayak ride. If you're looking to do something that's more off-land or a farther distance or on your own, the best bet is to call us ahead of time so we can make sure we're prepared for you and make sure there's room in the classes that you want to sign up for. But like I said, if it's nice, come by and do a kayak ride.
I hope you enjoyed today's tour and are ready for a kayaking adventure of your own. To learn more, you can visit the Village of Mamaroneck's Recreation Department's Facebook page, or you can call them at 914-777-7784. I'm Marcella Milder with the Local Live.
Ozzy is an adult male Yorkshire Terrier Yorkie mix. He looks a little like a werewolf, but is a very, very friendly one. He is 7 years old and weighs 6 pounds. He loves people, is a great cuddler, and a bit of a social butterfly. For more information on Ozzy and to browse other adorable pets, go to www.humanesocietyofwestchester.org. Remember, if you'd like to keep us on the air, support our program by checking out our website at www.lmctv.org and click on the donate button in the upper right. We really appreciate any contribution. We're always welcoming new interns and volunteers, so send your emails to the Local Live at lmctv.org and join us. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. We also want to wish our youngest reporter, Jack Wells, a very happy birthday. I'm Ashley Balone. See you next week for another edition of the Local Live.